Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Friends, before going into the details of the war, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell. Please support by subscribing and turning on the notification bell. We are a strong community. Russia's Iran-backed drone war on Ukraine reveals new tactics, demands, analysis. Russia's use of Iranian-style drones against Ukraine has increased in the last weeks, with major barrages across Ukraine targeting cities and civilian areas. This increased use of drones began several weeks ago at the end of September. A barrage of drones on Odessa on September 26, for instance, is one example of Moscow's new tactic. Russia sought out Iranian drones earlier this year and eventually acquired the Mohajer 6, a larger surveillance-style drone that can also carry missiles, and the Shahed 136, a V-shaped loitering munition that behaves more like a cruise missile than a drone. Now reports indicate that Russia is also using something called the Shahed 131, which is similar to the 136. Russia calls these the Geran 1 and Geran 2 drones. Tail numbers on the drone show that the Geran 1 is in the 400 series of tail numbers, while the Geran 2 is in the 200 series. This alone doesn't tell us much, but Tal Inba, a researcher and expert on missiles, space and drones, posted a list of the downed tail numbers found on drones used by Russia. Iran pretends it has not supplied Russia with drones. This could mean that Iran didn't physically ship them all and that Russia borrowed Iranian designs to build them locally. But the supply of Iranian-style drones to Russia is well documented by reports from the US and Europe. EU countries are even discussing sanctions. The Russian use of Iranian drones has left many questions unanswered over the last several months. A few of the questions are listed below. Is Russia revealing a new era of drone war tactics? Russia's decision to rely on relatively simple, slow-moving drones is an example of how countries can use drones in war. These drones are usually called loitering munitions or kamikaze drones. These kinds of munitions in some cases can loiter over a target. The concept of using drones like this goes back decades, and Israeli companies pioneered some of the world's leading loitering munitions. Later countries like Iran sought to copy Israel's success, but their drones were slower and not packed with the same technology. Russia has repackaged these kinds of drones for use in its war. Rather than the traditional loitering munition role in war, waiting for a target of opportunity to emerge and then slamming into the target, Russia uses them indiscriminately to strike at civilians. This is more like carpet bombing or the kind of bombing used in World War II. Even though the Allies called that strategic bombing, in fact, it often resulted in harming civilians. Russia's use of drones in this manner could also be compared to the War of the Cities in the Iran-Iraq War, when Iran and Iraq struck at each other's major cities using missiles. Iraq later used Scud missiles against the US-backed coalition in Israel in 1991. Now missiles have become drones, in a sense, because drones can be used to attack cities. By using drones, a country doesn't risk pilots. Drones are known for dull, dirty and dangerous work because they don't have pilots. Loitering munitions are a bit different because in the past they were used to suppress enemy air defense, a mission known by the acronym SEAD, but using them to strike at Kyiv or Odessa is a new kind of mission. Basically, Russia has taken a substandard Iranian product, ostensibly designed for precision strikes, and is using it to terrorize Ukrainians. Iran has used its drones to strike at Saudi Arabia in the past and has sent its blueprints to the Houthis in Yemen and Hamas in Gaza to build various types of drones. Russia is therefore borrowing and building upon the Houthi and Iranian experience with these kinds of drones. Is Russia's use of these slow-moving, propeller-driven drones that smash into people and buildings a new tactic, or just more of the kind of bombardment done in past wars? It's true that Russia is conducting a drone war on Ukraine, but this tactic of terrorizing civilians has been done in the past. Russia is merely using recent technology. How many drones does Russia have? Ukraine has said that Russia acquired 4,000 drones from Iran. The tail numbers so far show that dozens have been used and many have been shot down. Ukraine has scored impressive results, downing up to 86% of the drones Russia used in some barrages. Recent reports say 37 drones were shot down. The first Iranian-style drone was shot down on September 13, according to reports. Some 100 Iranian drones had been downed by October 17. On the night of October 16, a total of 26 Shahed 136s were shot down. A week ago, another report said that 60% of the 86 drones Russia used in one barrage were downed. Obviously, this is a large attrition rate. If Russia is losing so many drones, how many does it have left? A Jerusalem Post report over the weekend said it had 300 left in its arsenal. Russia had already lost large numbers of drones even before it began using the Iranian drones. It had lost hundreds of drones. Ukraine claimed it lost some 1,200. By July, it had lost 600. Looking back at the math here, even if most of these are small drones, Russia lost a lot of drones before it turned to use the Iranian drones. Since the Iranian-style drones are supposed to be destroyed in their missions, Russia isn't exactly losing them, because even if the drones are shot down, they were on a one-way mission. They are launched from multiple launchers or off a truck, from a kind of rack or canister. They can't return to base. It doesn't appear these Iranian drones are very sophisticated. Videos show them slowly flying over cities and people trying to shoot them down with small arms. Nevertheless, they are terrifying and can terrorize people. As Russia loses hundreds more, it will not only need to acquire more but will need to build them locally. It may turn to other types of drones, such as the Shahed 131, which is already apparently in use, and the Arash-2 drone, another loitering munition. Portugal to send 6 Kamov firefighting helicopters to Ukraine. The aircraft are currently unlicensed due to their Russian origin and need repairs. At the end of the meeting with NATO defense ministers in Brussels on the 13th of October, Helena Carreiras, Portugal's Minister of National Defense, announced that the country would be giving 6 Kamov firefighting helicopters to Ukraine to use in the war against Russia. Portugal is unable to use or maintain these aircraft because of the sanctions imposed on Russia, so they will be transferred to Ukraine in their current state. None of them hold airworthiness certificates so need repairs, and one is inoperable due to a crash. Carreiras said, "At the request of Ukraine and in conjunction with the Ministry of Internal Affairs, we will make available to Ukraine our fleet of Kamov helicopters which, due to the current scenario, the sanctions imposed on Russia, we are no longer able to operate. In fact, they do not have their airworthiness certificates and we will not even be able to repair them. The condition of the helicopters is already known by the Ukrainians, and they will be transferred as they are, as soon as possible," said Carreiras. Helicopters are not the only aerial equipment deployed to Ukraine. Dragonfly deployed medical drones to the country earlier this year. Ukraine resumed sea import of fertilizers. The Odessa port received the first fertilizer ship since the February invasion. The import of mineral fertilizers was suspended after the Russian invasion of Ukraine in February. Recently, a ship with 3,000 tons of granular urea was received in the port of Kilia. Fertilizers were unloaded and packed in big bags, reports Latifundist. The manufacturer of the batch of urea is Sokar, Azerbaijan. The general director of the delivery company noted that Ukraine currently has difficulties with the supply of fertilizers, in particular, due to the fears of shipowners and the cost of freight. At the same time, the company noted that they plan to supply fertilizers to Ukraine on an ongoing basis. The port of Constanța in Romania remains the most popular way of supplying fertilizers to Ukraine, with subsequent delivery by road transport. A small part is supplied through the Ukrainian-Polish border. Ukraine latest. At least 3 killed in Russian drone attacks. Kyiv mayor says the Russian invasion of Ukraine that began on February 24 continues, with casualties rising on both sides. Russian President Vladimir Putin has announced Russia's annexation of 4 partially occupied Ukrainian regions following referendums that Western nations called a sham. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.